code of existence in this age is not bread. In the animal kingdom, the code of existence can be bread. But he said in the quadrant of humankind, he said the code of existence is not bread. He said the code of existence in the quadrant of humankind is God tabernacled in man. So any man who God is not tabernacled on his inside did not exist in this age. Meanwhile, there are many ages in God. There is the angelic age. The Bible said in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. So before the earth was created, many heavens had been created. Many beings had existed in heaven. That's why you see the 24 elders, you don't know their origin. That's why you see the 4 beasts, you don't know their origin. That's why you see different categories of angels. Because before the project of man began, God had many projects. And there are different mysteries that govern all of those projects. But he said, in the project of man, what governs it is what? God tabernacled in man. That's why he said, Christ in you, the hope of glory. And the Bible now said, you know, when God began to create Adam, he said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. And the way God created man was that God divided himself, and then he took dust and hid God in dust. So it is God hid in dust that is called man. So man is God hid in dust, because the mystery of this age is God tabernacling in a man. And Jesus said, this is life eternal. Life is not breath, it's your ability to touch that God that is on your inside. Live by that God that is on your inside. Commune with that God that is on your inside. That was the same thing God was teaching Adam in Genesis 3 verse 8, that if you stop touching me, you stop living. So the greatest preoccupation of a believer is his perpetual contact with God. That's why the code of this age is koinonia. If you have not touched God, you are not alive. And most times when you don't touch God, the age will overpower you. The government of this world will rule you. This is why many people, God blesses them, the blessing becomes their grave, because they didn't know the code of this age. How often did you touch him? Or have you touched him? Have you touched him today? So the reason today we count in your existence is not because today was in time. The reason today we count is because even today you touched him. The day you fail to touch him will not appear in your radar in Zion. Your age in the spirit is not how long you lived in time. Your age in the spirit is how many times you make contact. Because every time you make contact, there's a dot in Zion that this man is still breathing. That's why the moment Adam was expelled, the moment Adam stopped touching him, Adam died. So you can be 90 years old on earth, but in the spirit you are 5 years old. Because cumulatively, your touching him and the impact of your touching him did not transcend beyond 5 years. He said, this is life eternal, that they may know him, that they may know him, that they may know him. Because if you don't touch him, this age will swallow you up. The bank will swallow you up. Abuja will swallow you up. The government will swallow you up. A point will come when it will become difficult to come to church, because you were tired from work. A point will come when it will become difficult to come into this world because something happened in the office and you are not happy. So you wanted to be alone. And the way you were being alone is by putting an earpiece and hearing a music, a song to saturate your soul. That's not life. That's not life. That's not existence. Because when you look at the wisdom of God from the tablets of heaven, you will discover the only way God. You know, the way spirits define things is different from the way men define things. It's different entirely. So he said, if you don't touch God, this world will swallow you up. And there are many people in cities. They went to cities with God large in their heart. But when they came to the city, the pursuit of things made God became faint. So even when they come to the place of prayer, they look for God, they can't find God. They couldn't touch God. Meanwhile, before they came to the city, even the moment they wake up, an angel is singing and they can hear the sound of heaven. Before they woke up, as they are waking up, there is the Holy Ghost is dancing in their spirit. So they wake up in the morning. They didn't have anything. Yeah, they wake up. I have a very big God who is always by my side. But they now enter the city. They didn't know that there's a government in that city. They didn't know that there was a prince in that city that have set his quadrant to swallow men. So when they entered the city without an understanding of what life was. So they negated the protocol of intimacy. They negated the requirements of koinonia. So they became big in the city, but God became small on their inside. So like Adam, we exchanged the mundane for sacred things. Like Adam, we exchanged eternal reality for temporal reality. And Jesus said, if you are like that, you are dead. He said, this is life eternal, that they may know him. How well do you know him? When you wanted to choose your life partner, did you hear his whisper? Did you hear his whisper when you went to the office? That's why we respond like men. Because when things happen, we can't check heaven. We can't consult with heaven. We are no longer of heaven. We have become on earth. We have become of earth. So things on earth, we are competing with people with our minds. No, we are rulers. We don't compete. We rule in this realm. And the reason we can rule here is because we are perpetually connected to Zion. But when you are disconnected from Zion, you begin to compete with that person in the office. How can you compete with somebody in your office when you are a carrier of God? When you know where you woke up from. You woke up from your bedroom. I woke up from the presence. You are coming out of a room. I'm coming from the mountains of Zion. How can I compete with you? It's not possible. But the problem is, men have relocated from heaven. They live on earth. In John chapter 3 verse 13, Jesus was walking in Nazareth, and he said, no man has been to heaven at any time except the Son of Man, which is in heaven. So every day Jesus woke up from the presence. Jesus lived from the present because he knows the code of this age. Christ in you. God tabernacle man.